Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about couples counseling. A lot of words will be thrown at you, but first things first, my name is Isabel Rodriguez. I'm a second year grad student at UNCG, and this is...
I am Alex Rodriguez, and I'm also a second year master's student at UNCG.
Great. So like and subscribe, or not, whatever you want to do. So first things first, I think it's important to dispel some myths about couples counseling before we get into what is it, just to acknowledge some preconceived notions about what we'll be talking about and if you've heard of it before. But first myth I would like to go over, this is just going to be like a general overview. If for some reason you're watching this video and you still have questions about it, we will most likely get to it later in the video. So don't think that we are just browsing over all these. So first things first, if myth one is if you and your partner and partners decide to see a therapist, then it means that an end of the relationship is inevitable, or if you are in a married relationship with this person, that it'll inevitably lead to divorce. So every couple is different, every relationship is different, and so to assume that by going to therapy it will definitely lead to an end of this relationship is entirely a myth. Second, a myth would be a therapist is picking a side and someone is entirely wrong in the situation or entirely right. That is not how a couple counseling should view the relationship, and we'll get more into who is actually the client in the room. The third myth is that couples therapy will lead to divorce. This again just means that it is not if you go to therapy, you will get divorced. Some myths about couples counseling is if you go, then your relationship is too far gone and it will only make things worse. As a general rule of thumb, it is not like if you go to therapy we will know the outcome, and so I think a myth is that you can only go to therapy if you want to end the relationship or the relationship is about to end. Lastly, couples therapy takes forever and it costs too much. So therapy can cost from a sliding scale. It can cost from based on your income, and some of them are even free based on your insurance. And also it can vary the length of time. So usually couples counseling lasts 6 months or less, just dependent on the client's needs and wants. So, moving on to some foundational issues on what couples counseling actually is. Take it away.
So there's a different modality between individual counseling and couples counseling. So the main difference is that for couples counseling, the counselor is more interested in what's happening between the two individuals or the individuals involved in the relationship. And this is different than individual counseling, where they're more concerned about what's happening internally with a client. So more of that relational dynamics compared to just one individual. And then also the client is the couple unit. So because of that, the counselor will attend to both partners in the relationship and will essentially view them as the client. So that means that the counselor will not take sides, or should not take sides, and so any kind of concerns about that should be alleviated because the couple is the unit that the counselor will be working with. Kind of going off of that, some people may be concerned about diagnoses. In couples counseling, there is no individual diagnoses, because again the couple is the unit that is coming in for the work, and so the counselor will be attending to the couple aspects of that.
So something about what Alex was speaking about, how the client is the couple as a whole, the relationship, rather than the two individual people. That does not mean that past experiences that are individualized will not come up. because we can't separate our past from relationships that we are in. So that leads me to what couple counseling entails. So like I mentioned, you may touch on your past and your past relationships, not always romantic, but maybe your relationships with your family, expectations going into the relationship, and whatever else may come up that could benefit the health of the relationship. So like cars, they need regular maintenance. So it doesn't always have to be a last straw. It could even be preventative. Going into therapy, if you feel like you and your partner or partners need some help with communicating or things like that, that is what couples counseling will entail. To be more specific, it will usually focus on a specific problem or problems within the relationship. So this could be intimacy issues, it could be communication problems, it could be some differing expectations of what the relationship means to either of the people, for like a plethora of different reasons. So another aspect of couples counseling is active participation and a want to be there, and change is not impossible, but it needs to be everyone in the room wants to want it. And then a clear establishment of objectives is very important and needed for couples counseling to work how the couple wants it to. Lastly, some other issues or concerns that people might come in for are maybe substance abuse for one or both of the people in the relationship. There may be some difficulties in parenting styles and lack of trust. So there's many reasons why people may come to couples counseling, and it could look different for everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and so after watching this video and you're kind of wondering where you could get couples counseling, there's many different places that you could get couples counseling. This could be outpatient community agencies, private practices, and sometimes even faith-based centers. So more specifically, you could come to a center like Family Services of Forsyth County or Family Services of Guilford County. Those are community agencies that will provide more economically reasonable services, and then you could also look towards some outpatient private practice settings like Integrated Marriage and Family Therapy in Winston, and yeah, just some other faith-based, if you're seeking faith-based couples counseling. Many churches are associated with that. There's one also in Winston. Really any church could help you find faith-based counseling for couples. So,
and we'll get more into specific spots that are closer to you later down the line with other videos, so be on the lookout for those. If you have any questions, leave us a comment below.
Yeah.